continue to be horrible.
I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable.
Stephanie White demanded WNBA referees face suspension after a blatant no call against Caitlin Clark. And honestly, that's just the start. In their recent clash with the New York Liberty, Natasha clearly fouled Clark, yet the refs remained silent.
Right? Like, we've got to be able to play through that. We've got to be able to control the things that we can control.
White, visibly furious, didn't mince words, calling out the glaring bias. For her, enough is enough. The basketball match between Indiana Fever and New York Liberty on May 24th, 2025, was nothing short of electric. This was supposed to be a night of fireworks, gritty, high-stakes basketball. But what happened next flipped everything on its head and left the entire basketball world reeling.
The New York Liberty hands the Indiana Fever their second loss of the season, with many fans blaming the referees for their horrible officiating at the end of the game.
With just seconds left on the clock and the Fever trailing by 2 points, Clark grabbed the ball, charging toward the basket like a thunderstorm about to break loose. The crowd held its collective breath, waiting for the moment she'd carve out a game-winning play.
Something that happens to the greatest of greats when it comes to shooting.
Then, out of nowhere, Liberty's Natasha Cloud swooped in and stripped the ball from Clark's hands.
Cold, and she wasn't able to get into rhythm.
And what did the referees do? Nothing. No whistle, no foul call, just silence. This wasn't just a single bad call. It became a flashpoint for the WNBA's ongoing officiating crisis. Caitlin Clark, the rookie sensation, had her moment stolen, and with it, a spotlight was thrown onto the integrity of the entire league. The game was over, but the conversation had only just begun. The Fever had fought hard all season to claw their way back from a rough start. Against the New York Liberty, it was a nail-biter to the very end. 90-88, Liberty taking the win.
A lot of fans, including myself, also thought that that was a foul.
But the final moments were where everything unraveled.
The Indiana Fever were up by 10. And this is after Caitlin Clark hit her 2 threes, snapped that long streak.
Clark, who had been lighting up the court all season with her three-pointers, assists, and fearless drives, was denied a fair chance to seal the deal.
So as you can see after the game, Caitlin Clark and Sophie are both running up to the referee here. They are both so upset, and the referee is just walking away from them.
The no call on Cloud's strip wasn't just a missed call. It was a decisive, controversial moment that robbed the Fever of a shot at victory.
There was so much energy in the arena. Now with that, the New York Liberty started chipping away at that lead.
The crowd's roar wasn't celebration. It was outrage. Fans let their voices fly, filling every corner of the arena with chants of disbelief and anger.
Have to happen if we want to beat the really good teams in this league is you got to find a way to put together 4 really good quarters. You know, there's going to be runs. That's basketball. They're going to go on their runs. We got to be able to find a way to stop.
Clark, normally composed even in pressure cooker moments, lay stunned on the floor, the shock and disappointment clear on her face. Around her, teammates and fans shared the same disbelief. How could the game's stewards get this so wrong?
To become like a Luka or a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander if the referees are going to continue to be like this.
Clark is more than just a player. She's become a cultural phenomenon, a beacon for the WNBA's future. Her rookie season has been a dazzling mix of skill, heart, and relentless determination. A star rising fast and shining bright. But this moment revealed the harsh truth about fame in the league. It cuts both ways. The more Clark's star rises, the more every play, every call, every no call is under an unforgiving microscope. Clark's stat line that night was bittersweet. 18 points, 10 assists, and an uncharacteristic 10 turnovers. It wasn't her best performance, but the moments she created were pivotal.
DB, she has a great pass to her, and DB gets her shot blocked, and she falls to the ground. This was a no call.
That final drive, however, wasn't just a game-deciding play. It became a flashpoint for controversy. Stripped of the ball with no foul called, Clark's disappointment resonated far beyond the court. Social media erupted with hashtags like #JusticeForClark and #FixTheRefs. The highlight of her no call became a viral moment, sparking debate across sports platforms and leaving the league scrambling to address the fallout.
With the kind of lead that the Indiana Fever had with only a few minutes left in the game, that they should have lost this game.
The moment the final buzzer blared, Stephanie White stepped up to the podium, eyes blazing with a mix of exhaustion and fierce determination.
It's disappointing.
that it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone both ways. But we also can't allow that to consume us, right?
She wasn't here to sugarcoat what had just happened on that court. No polite deflections, no soft excuses. This was a reckoning. Egregious, she said. A single word packed with the weight of 1,000 frustrations, slicing through the post-game hum like a thunderclap.
I felt like at times our late game execution was good, and I consider most of the latter half of the fourth quarter, because it was a tight ball game. We're still not recognizing our mismatches. I felt like AB had plenty of opportunities. We could have gotten her touches.
White's voice didn't just carry the disappointment of a lost game, it carried the anger of a coach who has seen too many games slip away under the shadow of questionable calls.
We had some turnovers, key turnovers. We settled at times. We fought. But we can't dig ourselves a hole from the beginning.
The numbers she revealed were jaw-dropping, a staggering -31 free throw disparity. That's not a close call or a slight edge. That's a glaring, almost unbelievable gap. For a league that prides itself on fairness and competition, this kind of imbalance was a flashing red warning sign. The disrespect for our team has been pretty unbelievable, White said, her words landing like punches in the ears of everyone listening. She wasn't just speaking for the Fever. She was speaking for every player and coach who's ever felt the sting of being treated unfairly on the court. This was bigger than just one game. It was a systemic problem, a fault line running through the league's officiating.
Flopping, they want to see the pure basketball, but if there's no other way around it, I'm going to need the trainers to get in there with the players and start working on some of these things.
What made White's stance so powerful wasn't just the facts she presented, but the raw emotion behind them. You could hear it in her voice, the frustration of a leader fighting not just for her team's win, but for the integrity of the entire league.
We know what she brings to the table, but people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along.
It was a call for justice, fairness, and respect. A demand that the game be as clean off the court as it is on it. Stephanie White wasn't just speaking for Indiana, she was speaking for the sport itself. In that moment, her words became a battle cry, echoing far beyond the walls of Gainbridge Fieldhouse, challenging the WNBA to face the uncomfortable truth and make the changes so many have been waiting for.
You should have enough confidence in the calls that they made to at least discuss. You should be able to at least discuss something with.
This isn't the first time WNBA referees have faced criticism. For years, fans and players alike have voiced concerns about the quality and consistency of officiating.
Referee wouldn't even acknowledge the players was kind of crazy to me.
But the stakes have never been higher because never in the history a referee ignored players like that.
Yeah, and that's probably what's frustrating about it too. Is like we are 2 possessions or, from being 4-0, but there was so many little areas in this game that we could have improved.
The Fever's game against the Liberty wasn't an isolated incident. Over the first 4 games of the season, the Fever racked up a shocking 84 fouls. While some might argue that the Fever's physical style of play invites whistles, the discrepancy in how games are called has raised eyebrows.
I'm not going to ignore, nor am I going to take my eyes off of what transpires with the WNBA over the next 2 weeks while Caitlin Clark.
The WNBA's officiating system has come under scrutiny, with many pointing to the fast-tracking of referees into professional games without adequate preparation. Imagine stepping onto a stage in front of thousands with the spotlight on you, expected to perform flawlessly. The pressure is immense, but the margin for error is slim, and in this case, the cracks are showing. Missed calls, inconsistent fouls, and no calls like the one on Clark are eroding trust in the league.
Go to word hate. I'm not going to be out there like RG3 was saying that Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark or other players hate.
To understand the broader implications, it's worth revisiting another controversy that has shaped the narrative around Caitlin Clark. Her on-court rivalry with LSU's Angel Reese during the 2023 NCAA Women's Basketball Championship. The moment Reese taunted Clark with the now iconic "you can't see me" gesture became a cultural phenomenon, sparking debates about sportsmanship, race, and the double standards faced by women athletes.
But I will say this, I don't think it's specific about Caitlin Clark. I think it's what Caitlin Clark represents.
Fast forward to the WNBA, and Clark continues to be a lightning rod for attention, both good and bad. Her every move is dissected, her every game analyzed. The no call against the Liberty didn't just affect the Fever, it added fuel to a broader conversation about how the league treats its players. The parallels between the Reese Clark controversy and this latest debacle are striking. Both moments exposed deeper issues in the sport, from systemic biases to the glaring spotlight placed on its brightest stars.
Every single game, WNBA players, fans, coaches are all complaining about the referees, and they have shown that they're not going to change anything because the referees.
As outrage over the no call reached a fever pitch, reports surfaced that one of the referees from the game had been quietly suspended. The league offered no public acknowledgement, no official statement, just a silent attempt at damage control. But fans aren't naive. They see the lack of transparency for what it is, an unwillingness to confront the problem head on.
Steps in and says, we're going to start training our referees better, or we're going to start paying them more, or we're going to get in better people in order to make some of these games.
Suspending a referee might seem like a step in the right direction, but without addressing the root cause, it's nothing more than a Band-Aid on a gaping wound. Fans are demanding answers. Why aren't referees held to higher standards? How are they evaluated? And what steps is the league taking to ensure this doesn't happen again? The WNBA is at a crossroads. The league has never been more popular, but that popularity comes with heightened scrutiny. Games like the Fever Liberty clash aren't just contests, they're showcases for the league's integrity. And when that integrity is called into question, it risks alienating the very fans it seeks to attract.
Ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this.
Players like Caitlin Clark are the future of the WNBA. They bring excitement, drama, and a level of competition that can rival any men's league. But they also deserve a fair playing field. Clark's frustration on the court wasn't just about a single no call, it was about a system that seems to falter under pressure.
It's disappointing. That it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone.
Stephanie White's post-game comments weren't just a critique, they were a call to action. The league has an opportunity to listen, to learn, and to evolve. Improved training for referees, greater transparency in officiating, and a revamped grievance system could go a long way in restoring trust.
To make excuses and continue making excuses if there is no solution for it. Like, if I'm gonna...
But change requires more than just words. It requires commitment from league officials, from team owners, and from fans who are willing to hold the league accountable. The no call on Caitlin Clark might have been the spark, but the fire it ignited could fuel a transformation in the WNBA.
Understandable, but it's not about Caitlin Clark, it's about what she represents.
The WNBA has always been more than just a basketball league. It's a platform for empowerment, a space where athletes can shine on and off the court. But with that power comes responsibility. The league must prove that it's capable of handling the challenges that come with its growth. Caitlin Clark, Stephanie White, and even Angel Reese represent more than just individual stories. They are symbols of a league on the brink of something extraordinary. The question is, will the WNBA rise to the occasion, or will it let moments like May 24th, 2025 define its narrative? For now, the league's credibility hangs in the balance. And as fans, players, and coaches await answers, one thing is clear: the WNBA's brightest stars deserve better. Like this video and subscribe to the channel to not miss a single detail of WNBA seasons.